Aflx. That is what we're talking about today. And again, we have a new question. Did it suck? Because I'm sure that's probably what people were thinking. Was it good? Was it bad? Well, let's get into it. So how's it going, everyone? My name's Twisty, or as most of you know me, Dean by this point. And today, we are going to be talking about Aflx, as I suggested earlier. Aflx. Now, when I made my video, I made it 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I made my previous video, and I didn't even realize this was going to be the super goal symbol. So when it became the super goal symbol was this, it was so much better than what I had initially anticipated. But the meme is dead now. It's dead. So I watched some of the Aflx on the weekend, and I'm sure you'd love to know what I thought of it. What did you guys think of it? Please tell me in the comments below, because I want to know that as well. I do read your comments and your things, and I'm sure the AFL will be like, oh, I wonder what people thought. So the big question, did it suck? Well, maybe. And I understand that, yes, it's the first iteration, yes, blah, 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 but it's basically a training drill. That's what it is. It is something that you would see every team practice at their open training session. You'd be better off watching an intra-club game than watching Aflx, in my opinion. But there are positives to take out of it, and we'll get into those in just a moment. But over the weekend, there were 3 Aflx nights on. I watched 4 games from each night because I could not take it anymore after 4 games. I watched 4 games on the Friday, switched it off. I watched 3.5 games at the ground. Then I left because I couldn't be bothered anymore, and I just was not enthused by it. Maybe it's because Richmond weren't playing. That's probably part of it. And then on the weekend, when the Tigers played on the Saturday, I watched those 2 games, and I watched 1 more game, I think, after that. So I watched about 3.5 games. I watched the second half of another one. So, in total, it's about 10 games I watched across the 21 that were on. So while I didn't see every single Aflx match, I watched about half. But give or take, in a normal AFL round, I probably watched 7 or 8 out of the 9 games. If not all 9, in some way, shape, or form. So, we understood what Aflx was on Friday night, or Thursday night. We saw our first Aflx games being played, and they weren't great. Let's be honest, they were pretty average. The first game, I think, was the highest scoring one of the night. It was about 70 to 50 odd, and that was reasonably okay. By the time we hit the second night, players sort of understood a little bit better what they needed to do, which is basically just kick it from outside 40 every single time. Just do it. Because the reality was, and this is what I said last week, is that the angles aren't that great on the ground because it's obviously a much smaller ground. It's basically like you're in the center corridor the whole time. You're kicking from 40 meters out on a very limited angle as well. So you should be able to slot it if you are a professional AFL football. And then by Sunday, we pretty much saw that was just zoop after zoop after zoop, because players were just like, this is the only thing you need to do. There can't be any other tactic other than just kick it from a long way out. And even when Richmond were playing, I was a bit more interested than normal over the other games, because it was obviously my team playing, so I kind of wanted to see what was going on. But when I was at the ground, I just felt there was just a complete lack of atmosphere. It was much better to actually watch it on the TV, because you could kind of tell what was going on a little bit better than when you're at the ground. There's like 0 time to celebrate. You know, like there's so many different people in the crowd, it's like very difficult for everyone to follow the game, because half the people aren't even watching the match when you're there. And there was all this other things on at the ground which really didn't need to be there, I thought, that just added more confusion to why aren't we actually watching the game that's going on. But I think the biggest problem with Aflx is it's too short. Like, no one gives a stuff because it's not like a hard fought effort. And I don't mean that as if, you know, the players aren't tired, because obviously they're stuffed. The game is fast. It's probably too fast, because there are no replays, there's nothing to slow it down, there's nothing to build drama. It's just moment after moment after moment after moment. You kick a goal, it could be down the other end within 2 kicks in half a second, and then they score and your lead is like evaporated. So from an emotional investment point of view, it was very difficult for me to be like, I care a lot about this sport. But I don't think that was the AFL's goal with this. I don't think their goal was actually, okay, let's just get all the AFL players invested in Aflx, because the players, I genuinely think that they were excited to play it, and I genuinely think they had a good time playing, and it's probably one of those things where it is more fun to play than it is to watch. Yeah, I've said this before, and I think that this is probably one of those things where they go, this is what we need to work on an international scale, because so far the AFL's barriers of entry towards, you know, other countries has always been, you know, we use big freaking ovals that no one really around the world has, because, you know, they're all soccer fields or baseball fields. Like, nothing is big enough to play AFL on. Especially in the States, where they generally can't field teams of 22 or 18, and this would be a good way for them to, you know, field smaller teams, play smaller matches, and still be able to build up their skills in the AFL system. You know, kicking, handballing, marking, they were all critical, and especially ball control were very critical as to how Aflx was played. So that brings me back to the question, did it suck? Was I entertained? Not really, not really. Yes, it was fun and exciting the first match I watched, because I was like, oh my god, it's a super goal. But then basically after that, I was just like, nah, I'm good. That's cool. It's not something that I would watch if Richmond wasn't playing in it in the future. Whereas with the real AFL, I can watch every single game throughout the week, be emotionally invested. Obviously, it's the premiership season as well, which obviously makes a bit of a difference, but you know, each game is more critical, and you can genuinely see how each side's gonna play. I don't know, like, it just, no. So while I'm not like a huge fan of Aflx at this point, I do actually think it does have some grounds for improvement. I don't know how. I think they need to slow the game down somehow. You know, maybe have like a 10-second break between a goal and a kick in. Like, I don't know, it's just super quick. And maybe make it like a 15-point halfway kick or something stupid like that. But yeah, it's hard for me to see it as an exciting prospect locally. I think maybe internationally it might have more legs. But other than that, I think that actual, you know, fans of AFL will struggle to enjoy it. I think it's probably more aimed at kids as well, you know, the Big Bash, shorter attention spans. But a Big Bash game goes for 3 hours. This Aflx goes for 23 minutes, you know, 10-minute first half, 3-minute break, 10-minute second half. So it's not very long. It's like, yep, that is less time than I would spend playing an indoor soccer match. That's 2 20-minute halves, you know, so even that is longer than Aflx. And so whether they break it up into like 7-minute quarters or something to give it a bit more length, but even, I just don't know where the improvement's gonna come from. I know they're gonna tweak some things. I don't know what they were doing at the ground, like around the ground was just bizarre with the circus people. Like, good on them for trying to get entertainment. Not really sure it was worth it. The supporter bays were okay, but again, I didn't really care. I just struggled to find a way to be excited about it. And obviously I was just hoping sort of the broadcasters would be a bit more honest with their opinions about what it is. Obviously it's a different type of a sport. It's obviously something new we've never seen before, so we could grow to like it the more we see it. But I just think that in its current state, not great, definitely needs work, but again, I don't know how. It's just confusing. And that's the thing for me, is if I can't explain why I don't like it or why I do like it, like it just does not serve a purpose for me. Like if I go, I like super goals, I like 10-point goals, that's cool. Keep that. But what do I not like about it? I don't like that my team only plays in Sydney, you know? But when I have to think about what I don't like about it, I go, well, I just don't care enough. And is that on me, that I'm not caring enough, or is it on the game, the sport itself, that it's not entertaining enough? Does it not go for long enough? And I think that that's probably the thing, is like, I don't know. I don't even know at this point what I'm rambling on about, but yeah, I watched the first weekend. Obviously it's the first iteration of the sport, needs some tweaking. AFL, I apologise, I can't be much help here, but I'm not sure what you need to do to improve Aflx for people to care more. I've seen a lot of people on the internet actually saying, you've ruined football, you know, you've ruined footy as a sport. Like, well, you haven't, because the real season starts in like a month, and real practice games start next week. So we're still gonna see our regular, awesome, amazing, exciting game that we all love very, very soon. Anyway, that is it from me today. I don't know what I'm going on about, but thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts on Aflx were over the weekend. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you like about it? What do you want to see more of? How do you think it can be improved? Because I genuinely just don't have a clue, really. I don't know. And poor Magic Door had a stinker. He had an absolute stinker on the weekend. It was quite funny. Poor Magic. But yeah, I'm not too sure what can be done. It's just weird, right? I suppose some point they'll find what the problem is. Anyway, that is all. I'll see you guys later.